We are the Advocacy Fellows, heroes voicing for and empowering young adults with learning disability.
Hello and welcome to our next podcast of 2026.
This week we will be talking about learning disabilities and relationships.
Many people who are neurodiverse say that relationships are important to them, but only 3% of people who are neurodiverse live as a couple, compared to 70% of the general adult population.
Many people with a learning disability would like to pursue intimate relationships, but they face multiple barriers in developing such relationships.
Meeting people is more difficult and social isolation is common.
People not receiving adequate relationship education to give them the knowledge to have healthy friendships and relationships and to understand their own sexuality.
A common lack of primacy which restricts opportunities.
The balance between the risk and rights of people in relationships often restricts their choices within family settings and other living agreements.
Many people who are neurodiverse have the same aspirations for loving relationships and the companionship it provides as those who are neurotypical.
It is important to recognise that people with a learning disability can be lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender.
Research has found that LGBTQ+ people with a learning disability face double discrimination because of their sexuality or gender.
Evidence suggests that some LGBTQ+ people who are neurodiverse have concealed their sexuality to avoid negativity.
Many people with a learning disability or autism don't get to have the relationships they want. A 2019 Scottish survey found 52 sometimes or often felt lonely, 5% live with a partner and only 3% were married. Many didn't see family, friends or partners as much as they wanted to. We would like to know what our Advocacy Fellows think about the relationships.
Why do you think it is important for people with learning disabilities to be in a relationship?
I think it's important because it's a cultural norm for everyone around to think that if you're not in a relationship, you're not worth as much.
I think it's important for neurodiverse people to be in a relationship as it can be a really important life event to experience. And another thing is that a lot of parents would want their children to be in a relationship and live a happy life. Relationship makes you feel happy. What barriers have affected you from being in a relationship?
There are many barriers that have affected me, one of which is my struggles with talking to new people because I was bullied really badly back in secondary school, and just not being able to talk to people about certain things or even being able to talk about things like relationships like that.
Family issues related to the past, and also not knowing if your partner is as truthful as you think they would be.
I would like a relationship, but of course I sadly haven't got one yet. The barriers I experienced was that growing up, I never really got the advice and guidance about being in a relationship, as the guidance I received from my parents and some of my teachers from school didn't help me that much. But I did eventually get genuinely helpful guidance from friends at school, which I'm sure will make things a lot easier for me. Especially when I go to a university this September, I might meet someone new. Why do you think it's important to talk openly in a relationship? In case, of course, lying is not good, and of course your girlfriend won't really trust you.
It's important to talk openly in a relationship because relationships are usually built on trust, and if there isn't any trust because of people either lying about things they are or lying about other things about themselves, it's going to damage the relationship over and over until eventually there won't be anything left. I think it's important to talk openly in a relationship as it builds transparency, which is a very important thing in a healthy relationship. What support might someone with a learning disability need when they're forming a relationship?
The support that someone who's neurodiverse might need when forming a relationship is to get is to get an opportunity for them to improve on their communication skills and make them more presentable.
Maybe a dating group app could be a good opportunity.
Seeing someone or more than one person in a group face to face would help because you do get to know them better. Because with online dating, you can never know if it's the person you're speaking to on there is real or not.
How can someone recognize a relationship is unhealthy? In case their partner had a boyfriend or a girlfriend right behind their back.
There's quite a lot of red flags in a relationship that you can spot if they're being too controlling, if they're acting suspicious, if they have an online profile dating online when you're when already in a relationship. That's also a big red flag.
Someone can recognise that her relationship is unhealthy if the partner is very controlling, as Kieran said, or manipulative or acts unfaithfully, or that it's difficult to find enjoyment that you'll find in comparison to being in a healthy relationship.
If the person is being abusive to the other person in the relationship because of things that they do, then that's unhealthy and should not be tolerated. What support do people with learning disabilities need to build relationships?
A good way for supporting of relationships is also for people who are not chronically online would be to form a group in person in like a community centre or any other particular social hub.
They need a good relationship to be with someone and a very good counsellor.
Why is it important to listen to voices of people who are neurodiverse about their own relationships?
A good reason to listen to people who have learning disabilities about relationships. It helps you, if you're trying to get into a relationship, to help you spot any red flags or green flags.
People have an understanding of each other, especially when it comes to people with learning disabilities, as they would like to be in a relationship, but needs time to get used to certain parts of it.
It's important to listen to the voices of neurodiverse people about their own relationships. Is that if they've been able to be in a healthy and wholesome relationship, such as if they've become happily married and or they started a loving family of their own, it can help other neurodiverse people feel inspired that they can be in a happy relationship themselves, as it is a known stereotype that neurodiverse people can never be in a relationship, which I think is really harmful and I think like that that these like examples of good relationships can help break the stereotype.
To understand them, you must listen to them very carefully.
Well, another interesting podcast by the Advocacy Fellows.
It's interesting to hear everyone's opinions about relationships and why they're important.
Thank you to Nick at KMF Radio for his support as always.
A huge thank you to the Advocacy Fellows for giving up their time and their open and honest thoughts on this subject.
Until next time, goodbye!
This video was produced by Discover Voices, part of Disability Cornwall and Isles of Scilly. To check out all of our content, simply search Discover Voices on YouTube.